We interrupt what you're watching right now to bring you this exciting story.
It's the dust and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the pledge of allegiance on the 4th of July. It's some handwritten letters from home. It's some sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. It's red, white, and blue. Lay down his life. It's red, white, and blue. 40 stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop. And his 18th birthday was the day he was born. It's the red, white, and blue. Lay down his life. It's the red, white, and blue. 40 stars and stripes. It's the red, white, and blue. Stand on the front line. It's the red, white, and blue. Pay the ultimate price. Oh. He was a man of house when he was born. His family is proud but torn. But if you knew him, you would understand. He was raised on how to be brave, just to see the flag still wave. And then he came home with all he wanted. It's Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Laid down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. All these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Stand on this red line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. To pay the ultimate price. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. 40 stars and stripes. Marching line. Marching line. Hey. Hey.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good evening, Erie County. As you can see, the studio looks a little bit different tonight. We did some technical stuff, moved some things around, changed out the monitors. So the monitor was really high, so we were able to uh, bring it down a little bit. So the camera's down here. Now I have to wear a clean shirt because now you can actually see what shirt I have on. So we did some kind of house cleaning today, moved some stuff around. I still have some cables. Good thing you guys can't see the cables that are just like spaghetti back here because that's not how it was when we started. But unfortunately, it happens when you remodel and you got to come back and clean up stuff. So that's what we're doing right now. And you're going to see that I'm not looking at the camera. I mean, I can look at the camera. It's right there with the light on, but the actual screen right there. So it's up a little bit. So it's not just watching the board. It's easy for me to read this way. We have a bigger monitor. I can bring up the camera too. Try this thing. It's like really, really big. It's like a all T, but it's actually a monitor thanks to a. So yeah, it makes it easier on my older glasses, which light back. So Brenda and I were pulling our hair out today, getting that all up and running to make sure that we were ready for 7 o'clock. We right there. Say boop right there. Matthew Thomas, candidate Stan. Hello. So we got Brad. We got Matt. We got Gwen. Wow, I got the dynamic duo. We got both of you guys in here. Do you guys have like separate monitors or phones or something? How do you guys do that? Aunt Glenda, thanks. Kim's here. We appreciate that. Like I said, it'll look a little different. You can actually see my my keyboard light. I'm gonna adjust that down, but I can't because then I can't see my keyboard. So sorry about that. Again, we're still going to fine tune it a little bit for the Wednesday show, but I think we're on second base running for home. And then now I can wear Kim's official shirt. See, everything's backwards on here. Now I can wear an official shirt, and you can see what I have on. I got to fix the microphone so I can put my little advertising here, but I have to make a little bracket. This microphone's a little different than my old one. So it acts a little differently, and logistically, it's a better microphone. So when I go like this, and that's why they're designed. So if there's any ambient noise in the background, it's Linda is here. She's in the room, so now you have to behave. Yeah, exactly. Brenda made these shirts up. We wore them Saturday for the Dan Rice parade. It was an absolute beautiful day. Wonderful turnout. Just kids. When we were downtown Girard, there was the kids were like, I don't know what, 10 deep, and just tons of people. Kim brought the little confetti cannons. Amazing idea. It cost a couple bucks, but man, the kids loved it. We had a nice wind where I could pop it out out of the car, and I wish we could have got some video of that, but it was really nice. The kids really got it. They were oohing and awing with the confetti. Drew and Girard, we humbly apologize, but hey, they're biodegradable, and you gotta have a little bit of confetti for fun. We got some great videos, of course, and then we got in a couple minutes here we'll bring the. I want to say the next mayor of the city of Erie on. I mean, that would be a great lead in to win, and everybody that's pushing behind him and everything, all the work that's going behind the scenes to get him elected. I mean, it's just an amazing trip. We have a lot of work to do. We got a lot of people to talk to, but we are doing that. And that's what we're doing. And I know Matt's been doing a lot of good people. I know him working real hard to get him there because the city of Erie does. Dave, our video extraordinaire, put together a ad for Kim, and he's just out of the kindness of his heart. He's a retired guy, and he camera caught on tape. Caught on video. Boy, Dave has some real winners. Woo, buddy! Some of them I can't even play. The one we played last week was a little bit of a, and if you were offended, well, unfortunately, this is what's going on in our community that doesn't get reported. People don't talk about it, and if we don't talk about it, it doesn't get fixed. So that's unfortunately why we do it. Might be beyond the end, but my audio is breaking up a bit. Yeah, please let us know if everything is going okay. We did some technical stuff, and we don't know if it's going to be us or you guys. Um, so yeah, we don't take it as a bad. See, that's what I was afraid of. It's mine is breaking up too. Kim, audio keeps breaking up a little bit. Might be on my end, but so that's telling me that we have a little bit of an issue, and hopefully we will work it out. Like I said, we literally tore the studio apart today and ended up redoing a lot of stuff, and maybe we just took on too much right before thing wants to fall down. I got to tighten that up a little bit. Maybe it was just an issue of we took on a little bit too much right before the show, and we'll work that out for Wednesday. It's one of those things that I am not a sound engineer, but it's just an issue of we do the best we can with what we got and our limited knowledge. My microphone keeps falling. There we go. I think. I hope we'll get it. We'll get that. We'll get our act together. But like I said, we got a lot going on. We got some videos to play. Let's see. Hey, Brenda, you want to play Kim's little ad that Dave did? Can you do that?
New tonight at 11, the 2020 census results are showing Erie now to be the 5th largest city in the state of Pennsylvania, right behind the city of Reading. This is a change from a decade ago when Erie was the 4th largest in the Commonwealth. Julia Hazel joins us now live in the control room with a look at the numbers. Julia, it's kind of alarming.
Yes, good evening, Jill. Now, according to the 2020 census, the Erie population is on a decline, and we spoke to Erie County and city officials on their reaction. And despite some of the best efforts of trying to get that population number over 100,000, there still is a chance that it could happen. The city of Erie experienced a 7% drop in population numbers from a decade ago, according to 2020 census, resulting in this year's total of 94,831. The population of Erie, according to the census, is under 100,000 people. This has a significant impact on how much money the city will receive.
Hey, we think there were a lot of people that didn't get counted.
Hopes to see the population numbers increase in time for the next census. There are a few tips residents in Erie can do.
Well. www.makeeriegreatagain.net. You want to make a change? Get out and vote. And if you can't get out and vote because you don't live in the city, give these folks your support. Throw them a few bucks. Yard signs cost money. Pamphlets cost money. Everything costs money. And, we try to keep everything in-house as much as we can. But unfortunately, there's just some things we can't do. If you can't vote for these people, that you can go right to Kim's website and you can give a donation right through her website. I mean, it's that simple. This modern technology is just amazing what we can do. So yeah, let me see. I'll give. We're almost there, so I'll give him a call, see if he's ready.
Well, hi, Brian. How you doing?
Well, sir, you are live. I'm a couple minutes early, but it's better to be.
We are doing great. We've been doing campaign events all weekend, did the Frontier Music Festival door to door, spoke to a couple really nice gentlemen down in the Pressed Cafe today. Obviously, we're doing your show now.
Well, that's what it is. It's a boots on the ground kind of campaign. You have to get out there. You have to talk to the people. You have to work the crowds. I listened to you on the Joe Natale show. You did a really good job. I like the fact you were able to push back a little bit with some of the crime statistics. So let's talk about that, because that is like the I think a top shelf issue to talk about. So what was your point about pushing back on that?
Well, I mean, I think that it's time to stop gaslighting people. And to be clear, okay, I'm not saying Joel was trying to do that. He said that he got the information from the city. And of course, I think they responded to me. I've been out here putting the awful crime statistics and all the issues out there. And then I heard that they were out on their website just That's not true. But you've got to stop gaslighting people, telling folks, oh, the crime isn't bad. Just as an example, the Erie Downtown Partnership had nights. And they did that because 2-3 times in a row now they've had crowds of what they referred to as disruptive youths coming in there and ruining it for else. And we see this out at the county library. Had issues where they've had to call the police multiple times to do that for a while. And even if the people are younger, at some point, the police have to get involved. They've got to be cuffed. They've got to be taken. People are always talking about, oh, well, we need more social services. Okay, so here's the Erie Downtown Partnership coming in and offering these opportunities for community get-togethers, offering things for young people to do that don't involve drugs or getting in trouble, and they have to cancel them because we're not policing the city.
Right, and I'm telling you, I mean, this comes down to a reflection of Roar on the Shore on a smaller scale.
Mm-hmm.
Security costs money. I mean, these officers are not going to go on their own time. I know they
Right.
do a lot
Nor should they.
nor should they. And I agree with you. I mean, and this is the problem where you just keep, saying it's okay, let's go play basketball. That doesn't fix the problem. It really doesn't. And,
No.
to your point about the gaslighting, it's an election cycle. And I've met him. I've had lunch with him.
Oh yeah.
He's a
Oh yeah.
good guy, served this city well. But, I find it funny that the crime statistics are dropping. Now, is there any
Well,
correlation?
and let me tell you what
Yeah.
they do. And it's not, again, as you said, it's not picking on the chief.
Nope.
It's not picking on any officer who's currently in uniform for the city of Erie or in any of the surrounding, communities. I believe the Wesleyville police would, cover the Iroquois area. It's not about that. What they do, okay, and what Democratic politicians they do this here. They cherry pick had heard and what he had then conveyed to me. The first 5-6 months of this year, murder statistics have gone down. Well, okay, great. Not quite as many people are getting murdered over the first few months of the year. That's good.
That's good.
But when the overall case volume and the overall type of case continues to rise, and I got a lot of confirmation from this from within the system over the next few days, but when the actual case volume continues to rise, having that one statistic doesn't matter. 1990s, where Bill Clinton, obviously a Democrat, he goes out and brags about how the national crime statistics have dropped. Well, actually, under his administration, national crime statistics rose everywhere except New York City, where Rudy Giuliani was mayor and absolutely cleaned up the streets. But New York City was a big enough place. It caused a slight drop in the national statistic, and then Bill Clinton went out and said crime's dropping. Wasn't due to any effort of his.
Right. Now, here's kind of my angle is now we have a population that wouldn't that statistically say that
Yes.
it decrease?
Exactly, right. I mean, if you're losing 8,000 people a decade, yeah,
Right.
of course crime decreases. I mean, hey, we can have 5 people living in the whole city. I guess there will be fewer crimes. I mean,
Well, that if they don't get their act together, that's what's going to be like. You're going to have a couple of patchy neighborhoods of nice, solid folks that are spending $10,000-$20,000 a year in taxes because the rest of the city is falling apart. But no, I mean I get that. These are really, really good questions. Now, I don't want to paint you into a corner. I really don't. But the controversy is the Erie Zoo. Now, I mean,
Right.
when I was on county council, we had to deal with this because
Yes.
it's an asset. It's a community asset, and it benefits all of us. I mean, what's your take? What is your kind of like?
Yes.
Hey, this is my opinion where we should go with this.
So you'll find this. I don't have to create my opinion on the spot here. You'll find this if you go back book social media just over the last couple of days. I said exactly what you just said. The problem is it's a community asset. I don't want the city to have to take it over. In an ideal world, it's expensive. The issue is that once you lose an asset like that, you can't just get it back. The buildings may still be there. There's going to be, the land is still there if it hasn't been sold off. But once you lose it, you're essentially losing a multi-million dollar asset, and you can't just snap your fingers and rebuild it the next day. So having the city take it over, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. You're not painting me into a corner. I'm happy to talk about it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure because that we're not that kind of show, and that's not what we do to our candidates. But I mean, this is an item that has to be dealt with. I know area events has kind of been in play with this. I've heard them a lot. I mean, I've had the pleasure of when I was on county council to work with these men and women, and I'm telling you, if there's an organization that can get it right, I'm going to go with. They're the ones going to get it right.
Well, and you go up to the zoo, and we don't want to lose those jobs either,
No.
because you go up to the zoo. Those people up there, you talk to them, you interact with them with your kids. They're good people. We take our kids there usually once, twice every summer.
I mean, who wants to shovel, poo? If you and I get that, and it's also sad. These animals only live for a short time frame, and they arrive and they go. So I mean, yeah, I totally agree with you 100%. I remember as a kid, riding the train, and there was the elephant. Well, we don't expensive. They're herd animals
Right.
and stuff like that.
Right.
And
you can, yeah, and if you have to, you can scale it back for a little.
Yeah, and my biggest thing is, a lot of people don't even realize this. I live out in Harbor Creek. I got no problems with that. Why does the city of Erie own a golf course in Harbor Creek business of golf courses? I mean, it's a dying, not dying, I shouldn't say dying, but it's a lose business unless you know what you're doing. And they
Right.
own.
Well, yeah. I mean, there has to be. Look, I have to step in here. There has to be a place for the politicians and the rich people to golf. We cannot take that away, Brian.
Oh yeah. Oh, I am so sorry. You are so right, and I get that. That's fine. But here we have a huge piece of property in the city of Erie that is owned by the city, and it's a golf course. And I hear there's some wheeling and dealing. What they're going to do with that? And we have to when it's budget time, and you have to tighten the belt like you do, I do, we do.
Right.
You got to cut out the foo-foo. I'm not going to buy brand new chrome aluminum rims for my car. I'm going to buy the steel ones because they're more cost effective.
I mean, somebody was telling me the other day, they were like, well, hey, the police, and again, it's nothing, well, hey, the police are doing all these things to interact. And I understand, especially with certain communities, right? There, you're trying to build relationships so that maybe, in a month or 2 months, somebody a question, maybe they're a little bit more helpful or less mistrustful. But even in, we have to look at, okay, are we having the police be police, or are we having the police be a youth sports league or something like that? Everything has to be looked at the bottom, even if it's tough.
Right. And I know we're the police department because
Yes.
they need the help, and it's a great organization, and they've been doing a lot to do that. But that doesn't fix all the problems. I can't tell you the city of Erie been clipped or hit one of these kids on these mini bikes. Somebody's going to get killed, and then it's going to be a fiasco. Well, look at this. Former Councilman Brian Shank runs over youth in his Hummer. That'll be on the front page of the Erie Times News.
If that happens now, after you said that, you're getting blamed.
Oh, that's all right. I already know I will be. Trust me. I mean, I could pick my nose and I would be on the front cover of the Erie Times News. But I mean, it's the point of, I know some of the cops, they're very good people. I know them personally, and they're very, very quiet about what they're told not to do, or they're like,
Right.
don't, the old good Italian, they selectively
You love that.
Don't worry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If Tulio was here, that would be the way. Hey, don't worry about it. But this is what we need. You have to and say enough is enough. I've been on the sidewalks, walking down a sidewalk on State Street. These guys on their electric bikes come alive. Some little old lady going to the theater is gonna get run over, and then it's gonna be a big, big storm. But yeah, these are
But remember what the city really needs to be paying for is more bike lanes.
right.
That will
Yes.
save everything.
$500,000 on what was it, Green Garden, I think. Because I know
Right.
a couple friends live over there. They're like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
And what are you going to do? Cut into people's front? Yeah, I went to this. I went to this meeting. This was years ago. It was actually a continuing legal education course because as an attorney, I have to keep up. Or I lose my license. I got to take. And I went to one. I was down in the Hurd Auditorium, and for some reason, and the craziest thing is getting into continuing education courses. You'll have people talking about totally random stuff. You're like, why am I here? Now, of course, given what I do, I try to focus Erie County Drug and Alcohol Conference every year. We had a great speaker last year. Actually, it was a doctor that was actually, he wasn't a softie. He was like, yeah, hey, I'm sorry, the smaller stuff, marijuana, all these things. That's what I see in my practice constantly. It is a gateway drug. But where was I going with this? But yeah, right. But this conference, they were talking for some reason. They were talking about these bike lanes that they were building. And I actually stood up in the conference and said, okay, well, isn't this, we've already got really narrow streets in the city. It's kind of an older, almost European style city. And some of the buildings we have here are every bit as beautiful as what the old buildings they have over there. And they go back, some of them 300 years. And, I said, where are we going to find, we're going to cut into people's front lawns, where do we find the room on these narrow, well, that is a problem. And then moved on. And I was like, where's anyone's practical approach to problem solving? Why couldn't this guy answer this question?
Well, because it's a political football. Because they know that the folks in the city that vote very D want this feel good projects, and that's what they're giving to pacify to get those votes. I go up and down.
And let me and I'm sorry. I know I'm interrupting.
Go
I know I'm interrupting you a lot tonight, and it's your show.
You're fine.
But you're right. And then they get the votes, and then they do get the money, maybe some grants for this project, and then the grant money goes to pay somebody that's their friend to do a study or to do this or to do that, and pretty soon, and then that person donates back to their campaign, and then it's back in their pocket.
Well, I love to throw people under the bus, and if you've earned it, Kathy Delcamper, county executive, she was at the helm when the Erie County went through the whole radio debacle, spending billions of dollars on this. You don't think the company that we bought the radios from did not donate to her campaign? You're crazy. But no one says a word about it. The reporters aren't going to touch it. They said I have a good rapport with. They're like, Brian, we'd love to do this story, but it got squashed, man. It's too political, and you stepped on too many toes. So, this is how. And they sit back and say, oh, we don't do that stuff. We do that stuff, and we're still struggling with this level. It's gotten better, but we've had to dump millions. PSP had that system up and running before we did. They had to do millions of dollars of upgrades to get it right.
Well, and remember to have this in life, you have to have this super simple approach. Yeah, there are complicated issues. Okay, I've got 2 college degrees. I can handle that. But remind me about he had bought all this property down in there's a ballroom down there, and they this isn't going to work. The ballroom doesn't have enough capacity for events like this. And it's the facilities aren't going to work, and we're going to have to totally build a new ballroom, and it's good for as a venue, and it's going to cost us all this money. And he looked at the tables, and he said, okay, we can't get any more tables in here. They said, no, sir, we can't get any more tables in here. And he went through and he looked at the chairs, and he noticed the chair kind of wide, I had really wide arms on them and everything. I think there were the like wheelie chairs or whatever. And he got smaller chairs and fit an extra chair and, saved hundreds of millions of dollars. It's the kind of approach.
No, I totally agree with you. And that's where common sense has cards they're supposed to play in the world of government. And and it's like the county executive. People are like, well, I don't like him. You're not supposed to like him. He's just there to run the place. If you don't like your boss, find a new job, and that's fine. But we've seen some great economic growth underneath his leadership.
Yes.
They love to rip this guy down every chance they get. Same with do I get on my show all the time. I don't agree with him all the time, but
Hmm.
and that's what we need to do and transmit that over to the smaller levels to city government. And it hasn't been that way in a long time. I mean, it really hasn't. I mean, look at under the Tulio administration, the Transway Mall. That was the death of the city of Erie, and that was under Democrat control. But who was going to tell? Don't worry about it. No, he wasn't going to get a no. That's he got what he wanted. But yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of cool things that we could talk about. I know you're a busy guy. You got a family. You got a new one in the house. But yeah, so if people need to get a hold of you, they want some more information about the man and the legend. Where do we go?
Yeah, so I think the best place, I mean, which is what I update every day, is Matthew for Mayor. It's on Facebook. All the other city candidates, including Kim, who I know you're, fairly close with. I think they're all following me on there. So it's Matthew for Mayor on Facebook. Also, if and I've been telling people, and I'm not going to do a video show because it's a little bit too public, but I'm on the street. Here's my personal phone number. Here's where I live.
Right.
If you want to stop, there's also Erie Stronger Together. We've got a bit of a slate of candidates. That's absolutely fine. But
Yeah, and that's what we know. It's just an issue of the getting the information out there. They can show anybody, Democrats in here that want to talk. But then I said, look at anybody else. We're here to have a conversation. I'm not here. I'm not Howard Stern. I'm not that kind of guy. My
Right.
mom and dad listen to this, and trust me, after I'm off the show, the phone rings. Brian, what'd you talk about that? That wasn't very nice. You were mean to him. Sorry, mom. But no, we're here as a community, and I hate ripping it apart. But sometimes you have to tear the shed down and rebuild it. And if we don't take the next couple years very carefully, we're going to be tearing the shed down and rebuilding it. And it doesn't matter how much money we throw at it. Doesn't matter how much grant money. Doesn't matter how much money Senator Lofton brings in here, or how much money he gets to the school districts. And that is a key. I had when I lived in Erie for a quick minute, as I roll my eyes, I had my Erie school district. What a nightmare! And that was years ago. And I'm like, I am out
Yeah.
of here. And that is
Yeah.
the biggest selling point
And
is people Google up on their school districts. Is Harbor
yes.
Creek perfect?
Well,
No.
why do you think every realtor's website lists the school district?
Absolutely. It is part of the equation on where you're going to spend your money.
Yep.
Are the county schools perfect? No. I mean, when I was on council, I mean, Northeast is my district. Boy, they were fighting like cats and dogs down there over the football field. Now they
Yeah.
on West County, they're fighting like cats and dogs over a football field. Are they perfect? No, they're not. But hey, you know what? If you don't like who's at the helm, vote them out. Real
Well,
simple.
you and I may have talked about this in the past. I think we did, but since we're since we're on the topic, I mean, yeah, the county schools have pretty much all have a 90+% graduation rate, Erie high. And yes, I'm sorry, but my opponent, was the school board president, so she has to take some level of responsibility for this at some point. It has a 70-something% graduation rate. And what was it? Was it the Erie Leadership Academy or one of those others that down completely recently? I think that was just in the next 2 months. I don't want to say it might not have been the Erie Leadership Academy. It might have been. It was one of those
Right.
kind of charter schools. It was funded by the city. And it was this big project, and it was going to be great, and then it just flopped and went down the drain, and the performance terrible. And I think the discipline was bad, and now the city, they should have guessed they can't do it. But the money all went back to the school board and the city. So
Yeah, and I'll take a swipe at the Erie School Board. I got no problem. Right, and that was going to be part of my, anti argument against your opponent. She sat on the school board, and I wouldn't
Right.
brag that I sat on that Erie School
No.
Board because,
No.
and here's my interpretation of that 70%. I'm going to call bullshit because here's the thing: those numbers, are they factoring in Collegiate Academy?
Right.
So
Well,
there's
and
yeah,
you're absolutely right, and they're not factoring that because you're like, oh well, hey, we're going to take all the
yeah,
smart kids and we're going to put them all in one,
right,
and then we'll get a good graduation rate out of that, and then we'll celebrate that. Well, okay, hey, great, I'm glad you're saving the top 10% or 5%. And the other reason they're BS is because kids that are out in the county and they're going to the county schools, they are being held to a higher. The public schools in so many cities now, and it's not just Erie. You can't just blame Erie, even though each place has to be accountable. And I hate it when they're like, well, it's a nationwide trend, but it's not just Erie. They hand out diplomas, and diplomas don't mean anything anymore. I mean, the only thing, and so many people that want to go testing because that's unfair. All right, but you have to have that, or you have to have some concrete rating someone's achievement. And you have to do the same thing with each individual school because you have to be able to hold the schools accountable. And that kind of testing, that's the only thing that's guaranteeing any kind of, solid, graduate knowledge upon graduation as it is. Whereas, I mean, it would have graduates coming out of high schools that can't read and write. They can't, you get an email from them at work. Well, I don't know what language that's in. It's not English.
right. Oh, I mean, I go with I don't read. I try to stay off the internet. I try not to get my stories from the internet. I base them on my conversations with people I know. My neighbor was a Navy veteran. He was a pipe fitter, a tradesman. He goes,
Hmm.
Brian, I would get kids out of high school that couldn't
Yeah.
add a quarter inch to a half inch.
Right.
They would sit there with a pencil on it. He's like, no, it is a half an inch, add a quarter inch. And
Right.
it could go
It's basic division, even if you can't read a ruler.
right. And he goes, here's the thing, if we get the right candidates, we'll teach them. But the problem is, I have to teach them when they come through the apprentice program
Right.
to
Absolutely.
basic math. Okay, if you weren't that kid that was really good at math, you really stayed away from the math classes. But then it comes down to just simple, going on with the trade schools. When I went to Harbor Creek Metal Shop,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we got some basic skills that the instructors they use finger off.
Yeah. It's going up and down in this straight line.
Yeah.
Sharp. Do not put. Hold the wood. No, not on that. So not on that.
Yeah.
And right. Carpentry at home. I've made dressers and beds and all kinds of stuff. But you're right. And there was this teacher of mine years ago, and she got a little bit mad because she said, I think that the reason they're not learning math well is because we use this really complicated. We use the English system. It's inches and feet and yard system because that's so much simpler. Okay, fair point, valid argument. But that's not the reason kids aren't learning. Kids for hundreds of years in the U.S. did fine. The problem is that they're not making the effort. A lot of it's because because of how they're being raised at home, but it's also down to the school and the effort to learn or being taught properly how to do this at all.
Oh, I get it. I don't know if you're watching. I know you're just on a phone, but Donna just put in there. It was 77% when she started, and down to
Yeah.
68% now. And I know the mayor doesn't have a lot of play with the school
Right.
district, but guess what? You're the captain of the ship, and guess what? Your engines are falling out of the back of the ship because the schools suck. And
Yep.
if they don't get it together, this will be the brain drain that everybody loves to talk about. They've got some great secondary education. We finally got a community college up and running. It would be interesting to talk to those folks and see how the kids are. I know on council, we worked hand in hand with the dean out there, helped them with some projects, got some monies, helped them going. And they had some people, these are adults, that would start, then they realized they had to actually, oh, I don't know, quit. So,
Yeah.
and that's so college is different because you're motivated by to be a fortune. I think they're
Right.
I think this they're at a point where they need to stop doing the free stuff and be able to stand on their feet. But they're waiting for the accreditation, and I understand it's complicated and blah blah
Sure.
blah blah.
Well,
But
and that just is the thing. And I was thinking about that exact thing earlier. Everything that you pay for, you value. Everything you don't pay for, you don't. And this, by the way, this is not in any way a comment on public defenders' offices or their role in the community. I work at a public defender's office. I love it there. It's a great job. I've got great colleagues. Renton is a genuinely good place to work too, and it has been in many ways under past administrators and executives as well. Um, but at the end of the day, um, you know, oh, how should I put this? If you have so as a public defender, it's going to go with this for a second, but as a public defender, you get a lot more abuse from your attorneys get
oh,
because you
absolutely.
go into right you and they're like you're like, okay, can you defend me from my DUI? And most of them are like, okay, I'll need at least $2,500 or $5,000 or however much I want that, and I want it up front. And you're like, okay, if I had this much money, I'm not going to be nasty to him, but I'm probably not going to be nasty to him. And when he says call me, you're going to call him. With us, we go months without even hearing from a client, and we still have to represent them because we're a free public service. We get treated exactly like you treat any old utility or anything you're not paying for. You tend not to, now maybe more respectful people do, but you tend not to treat it very well.
Oh, I agree. I mean, when I sat on council, we were proud to help you guys out. Whenever, Nicole would come to us with a budget, it was
Right.
pennies on right on the money. We went through the whole big building swap and that whole debacle with the leaky roof and the bad windows and
Mm-hmm.
that Kathy Delkemper just had to have. And I was like, wait a minute, when I buy a house, I get an inspection. Do we get an inspection? Oh no, don't worry about it again. No, and again, I was right. It needed all these upgrades. It cost us more money, and then, but you guys needed the room.
We did.
Your mission is getting heavier and heavier and more. You needed more room. I had been up into your offices. It's like walk down this little staircase, walk up this little tiny corner, little hallway, And
Yeah.
then you when you guys needed your new building, we were like, okay, we got it, but we want to make sure that we're not taxpayers aren't getting screwed on this deal. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I really commend what you guys do because, like I said, I've heard the horror stories about how your clients can be really nasty. But other than that,
Right.
counselor, any closing remarks?
No, look, I just appreciate you having me on. I like these opportunities. Like I said, I've been out doing this all weekend. I'm probably going to be out doing it every single weekend and a lot of nights from now right up until the end. So, hey, people of Erie, I'm fighting for you. If you're willing to come out in November and fight for us, we can seal the deal.
I love that closing argument. I appreciate it, sir. Again, if you want any questions, reach out on social media, Facebook, approachable guy. Please, just watch the show. If you missed something, it's recorded. You can find it on Facebook. Boots on the ground on YouTube, other different channels. Other than that, reach out to Matthew's a good. Do this right before you leave, though. People are like, wait a minute, wait. I usually put the lovely picture up here, so people. I like a Q model, but
Before I became an attorney, that's how I paid for law school.
you worked your way through law school being as a GQ model. Well, were you for Dunkin' Donuts or something? I had to get in there somehow. Yeah. So
look at the picture, people. It's not Dunkin' Donuts.
yeah, I mean, he's a good-looking guy. I'm jealous of the hair. Nice hair bun. First time I saw you, I'm like, this guy's a Republican and he's got a great hair bun. I'm like, okay, well I got to meet the guy. I met the guy. I liked you. I was at your first kickoff there downtown. I'm like, all right, he's got my support. All right, but yeah,
Right. I mean, my hair can never be quite as awesome as the Donald's. I'll admit that, and I'm not ashamed. But Also, folks out there, if you know, exactly like Brian said, if you see me on the street, you want to come up, say hi, talk about stuff. As long as I'm not in a hurry, we'll have a conversation.
Right. We appreciate. I got all the list of all the folks that are running in the city up on the screen right now.
Yeah. Wonderful.
PAVoterservices.pa.gov if you need to get registered, and of course our little favorite hashtag
Yes.
Vote Red Instead. Thank you for your time, sir. Go enjoy your family on this Sunday afternoon. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye. There you got it. There you have it. The guy himself. I think my mouse is dying, Brenda. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, there it goes. Whew. You can click them off. Thanks. I think my mouse is dying. It's one of those fancy cordless ones.
After so many minutes of not moving it, it kind of
Yeah.
falls asleep. You have to double click it and then move it around. It'll be fine.
Can you take that picture down? I think I accidentally deleted it, actually. I was clicking on it to get it to work. Hi, Kim. You're live. Thanks for waiting. We had the next mayor on the line.
Oh, I heard. Well, I want to talk about the zoo. I think the city and with Erie Events wanting to take it back, you know, they have $500,000 and they're willing to take over the zoo and expand it and the golf course and the park and a beautiful job with the Warner Theater, with the convention center, and with UPMC Ballpark.
Oh, I get it. I mean, you know, you're supposed to hire the smartest.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, you're supposed to hire the smartest people that you can. And I'm not saying anything against how the board has run the Erie Zoo, but I think, you know, with the hurdles of today, they haven't really taken that next step where Erie Events they're ahead of the game. They're playing 3-level chess when there's are still on a 1 level. So I have no problem with the Erie Events, you know, pitching in and helping out. You know, they took
like I said, how they're running the city. You know, we have no business running a golf courses yet. We need the zoo. Yes, the zoo had an awesome, fabulous season. If Erie Events takes it over beautifully and advertise it beautifully, give us more animals, and we need to get our higher rating back.
Well, yeah, and they're not accredited, and so when they don't have accreditation, they have issues. And you know, in Erie Events, they have the money, they have the talent, they know how to act, and they have a beautiful place. Now, the Warner Theater, the only thing I can argue about that is that was a lot of state-funded grants, but the vision was there, and it was put down on paper. This is what we need to do. We need to be competitive. We need help. They had state grant money come in and help that. Well, maybe they can apply that same logic to get that grant money to do these upgrades at the city. So, but again, you know, Erie politics, city council is an absolute joke, and they're going to drag their feet, and they're going to put the city at risk of losing an important asset.
Right. So I'm guaranteeing you, if it drags out, you already know where my vote and my ideas are going to be when I get elected.
Right. You got an attack chihuahua in the background. Are you there?
I'm going to talk to you once I get on the phone.
Well, of course, they're worse as kids. There's bad as kids. But no, I mean, you're absolutely right. And these are the thing after the other that this shouldn't even be an issue. They should have had this on their radar. They should have known it was coming. This isn't a secret. They should have already planned this out. They can come up with $1 million for a new roof for the police department. They could come up with a little bit of money to help a very, very important city asset. The parks, they finally got those whipped into shape, put new pavilions up. They keep it clean, stop people from doing drugs over there. I used to when I lived in the city for a quick hot minute. I used to drive there. I'd leave the house at 4 o'clock in the morning. There'd be cars there. You know, they're not to no good. My mom always said nothing good ever happened after midnight.
Well, and they didn't even finish the parks because there's a big Roger Young Park Fund, but they actually moved the money out of that $4 million to give to Bishop Rock. And I still cannot not find the contract where he's supposed to pay that money back.
No, it's one of those forgivable grants. They love forgivable grants.
Oh no, this one
Yeah.
here is not a forgivable. It's a no interest grant.
Yeah.
And then he's supposed to pay back in 18 months. So I want to see that.
Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah,
But on a happier note,
Yeah.
I did in the parade yesterday. I'm telling you what, we could have had better weather for that.
Perfect. Sunny, cool,
Perfect weather.
nice breeze. People are happy. Enough wind to blow the confetti all over the place.
Oh my God, those confetti cannons. I don't know why we didn't think of it sooner. The wind was grabbing that and the kids were going crazy. I don't think there was a piece of confetti left on the ground the way they were grabbing that up faster than candy. But I'll tell you what.
I have to agree with you. They thought it was like a piece of the memorabilia they had to have. I mean, thank you, because then we don't have to get yelled at for making a mess. But hey, guess what? They have people come through.
Even the guys in the grandstand loved it, So, it was a win-win, we were able to be there, thank you to Tim Kuzma, who was there with his truck as well, advertising for Maria Batista. We got to give her a lot of love and get her name out there with Matt Wolford, and I want to thank everybody for that. And tomorrow night is Lights Out. Okay, sponsored by United Way. I think I gave you or somebody the itinerary. I'll put it on my Facebook again, where you can go to several different schools and parks and locations, get all kinds of free things. They have activities for the kids. It's going to be a fabulous night.
No, I totally agree with you. And it's the weather looks like it's going to be nice. I didn't really check it, but I haven't heard anything. But it's supposed to warm up a little bit. But that's okay.
Yes.
It's August. Let's get some warmth before it snows.
Yes. And I'm going to encourage every single candidate and our friends to show up at the Italian festival this weekend, because I'll tell you what, I show up every year and that's when the Democrats show up. So we have to show strength. We have to show we're alive, and we have to go out there and make our presence seen. And I'll tell you what, it's a good time anyways, and it goes for a good cause.
Yeah, about it.
Don't worry about it. I said, everybody keep getting your friends registered. I talked to Pressler, and not only does he think we can split Erie County, he thinks we can flip the whole state. And boy, I can't think of anything else better than if we can flip the state of Pennsylvania.
No, I totally agree. I follow Scott. He shoots me a text. Hey, keep up the good work, Brian. We're watching. We're paying attention. We're watching these races really, really close, because we want the city to take a different direction. And I think it's salvageable. I think it's got it's got a mortal wound, and it's going to be a tough fix. But we can't keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different outcome. Albert Einstein.
Absolutely.
Just saying, that's his quote, not mine.
Right. And I believe if we all work together, we can and we will make Erie great again. I believe we can do new infrastructure. I believe we can fix the roads. I believe we can get some new snow removal equipment in. And I believe we can bring in some new high-paying jobs. And I believe Brenton's the man to do that if we can give him the tools he needs. So with that, I'm going to let you go. You're doing a great job. We love you. And if anybody wants to buy a shirt, please contact Brenda. And she's got a new alligator shirt that's to die for. I love it. And please support Brenda. She's my best friend, and we got to show her some love.
All right. JD Longo just popped in the room. Nice to see you, sir. I had my graphics up. I didn't see the chat room. So welcome aboard.
Yes. And happy birthday, JD. We love you very much. Bye-bye.
See ya. Yeah, there you go. We got Kim Hunter. I'm Donna. You just called. Call back. I'll take your call now. Sorry, the show's a little time delayed, so you don't know if we're on a call or not. So call back. I'll put you right through. So yeah, pull the chat room back up. There it is. Okay. Woo. Yeah. See there he is. So yeah, gotcha. Hi, Donna Reese. You are live.
Hello, hello. I wanted to give everyone an update. Really kind of cool news for Erie County.
Lay it on us.
Kim was right about Scott Pressler told me the other day that Erie County is officially the #1 county in the country that needs flipped and that people are working on. And to back that up, I had a meeting a week ago with Turning Point, and the gentleman is out of Pittsburgh, and he went back and told his boss everything that we're doing in Erie County, everybody. And his boss is flying in on Tuesday to spend Tuesday and Wednesday here, and we set up one meeting after another with everybody imaginable, and then we're doing a big round table. And Turning Point is really excited to be getting on board to do anything that they can do, including sponsoring these events to get people out and bring the awareness to voting and changing parties for the right reasons. So it's a big week for Erie County with these people coming in, and I'm hoping Scott he's going to try to come in via Zoom to the meeting also, but it should be a turning point for Erie County with the help that they're willing to give.
Oh, I totally agree with you. And we've proven over and over and over again, Erie County is worth saving. We've handed two big wins to President Donald Trump. We have earned that help. We have put our boots on. We've knocked doors. We've sweated. We've sworn. We've fought. We've stomped. but we're getting the mission done, and that's what we're here for. And Scott is a great guy. I keep him in my texts when I send out a bunch of posts about the show. He wants to come on the show, but he's like, "Oh my God, Brian, I want to come on the show, but I'm just so busy." I said, "Dude,
yeah, everything is a game time
Yes.
decision because his schedule changes so much. I know.
That's what I told him. I said, if you want, we could even do a recorded one and just play it.
Yeah.
It's no big deal." He's like, "Oh my God, that would even be better." I said, "Well, yeah, but
Well-
we like to do it live and raw and just right here." But I said, "We'll
Yeah.
record it, no problem. We got the technology."
And those people who have the nerve to call him lazy, I have to go. I defend him because I mean he is anything but lazy.
And somebody called him fat. And
I know.
Yeah,
Isn't-
so he dropped like 40 pounds in like
Isn't
a
that
month.
terrible?
Yes. I mean, this guy's like what, 6'2", and
6'2".
cowboy boots. I don't know how tall he is.
I bet you he's 6. I'm just I'm gonna have to ask him that because
I know.
when I stand next to him, I look like I was just born.
Well,
but
you short females. I mean, you and Brenda are in the same
I'm
boat.
challenged.
Small
Yeah.
things come in great packages. I mean, and I get that, and I mean it greatly. But yeah. So I mean, what else is going on your side of this world?
Can't tell you. Well, the opportunity to speak to people in the city, they flip. And I don't think we have had in the many that our crew is talking to, more than 2 that push back. Because now it's gaining traction. It says flip Erie in big letters and then vote red instead. And the arts festival, and they said had we had those t-shirts there, everybody would have bought them because everyone was asking where to get them.
Oh yeah.
And cricket's going to go into operation, and anybody who wants to wear them, we will give them to them because this is huge. I was talking to Caleb, and Erie to flip, that's Erie County solidly red. And Turning Point and Scott, big picture, which we all are next year, and we have 3 House of Representative positions that need to be beat. And so off in dividends next year and following presidential election. Work now is definitely making the difference for later.
Oh, and I totally agree with you. You know, this isn't brain surgery. All you got to do is take a couple minutes, fill out a piece of paper, go online. We have basically spoon fed all this information to you, but we can't make you sign it. We're not
Right.
Democrats. We don't sign other people's applications. You have to do it, and then you have to get up and get out and vote. And that has been our weak point. And
Yep.
and look what happened in New York. You know, 9% of New York,
9%.
9% came out and voted, and now they have a whack job communist. I almost gonna. I hope they pull his. I hope they pull his citizenship because he's really not. He lied on his application. But hey, oh,
Yep.
he's progressive. He's progressive. No, he's a communist. Knock it off.
And all we have to do is ask people, you like the direction this is going? You like your leadership? What have we done for you? Nothing. They say nothing. And I met with a nice young lady, 32 years old, lives in Franklin Terrace. And she said, I want you to educate me. I spent 3 hours with her at Tim Hortons over on 12th Street. We had the most in-depth conversation you can ever imagine, and she really laid out what is wrong, even so much deeper than what I even knew. And then I said, how do we fix it? And she said, I don't know, that's why I want to hear from you. But it was funny because I was telling her, me as a Republican, what my philosophies in that are, in just family values and everything else. And she said, so Republicans aren't what they portray on TV. And I said, fake news. And I said to her, I said, you got to turn off the TV. And I said, I I can't tell you, how much. Number one, we are not these money grubbers who want so that it goes in our pockets. We want to lessen government so it goes in your pockets. And I mean, the conversation was just phenomenal.
Oh, and you nailed it.
Shirts.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
you got it right on the head. Put down CNN and look at this crap. They lying about everything. Chuck Schumer lying about Trump wanting to build a ballroom. Oh, it's going to cost the
Yeah.
taxpayers 200.
Oh yeah.
No, don't worry about it. I'm going to pay for it. I tried to get it under Barack Obama, and he told me no. So this isn't just something. I got a video right from his own words saying I offered this to Barack, but he said no.
This girl too brought up Medicaid cuts.
Yeah.
And I said they're lying. And I said, if you have a true disability that you can't work because of that disability, I said, you are not losing your insurance. If you are over the age of 65, you are not losing Medicaid. Bodied 32-year-old whose kids are over 12, I said, then do you think it's unreasonable? Volunteer or go and get 20 hours worth of education? She said, absolutely. She said, that is just bill.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's what Democrats do. They lie, they cheat, and steal. Then they point the fingers at us and saying we're the money hungry. Bernie Sanders. You guys said you're big millionaires, dude. You own 4 houses, and have a private jet.
yeah, exactly.
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really refreshing being out on the streets.
I agree.
And like I said, to get in front. I did give August next one. I said, how do I get the masses there? She said, give something for free. And
Yeah. Oh, I mean, and I agree, and that's sad that we have to. I don't like the word bribe.
literally priced out backpacks with all the school supplies. and Turning Point when they get to town if they want to sponsor it. And we have people like her giving the message, before out all the free stuff. But partners to help. Again, it's all about money because I'm going broke, personally putting all my efforts into it and backing, and having a place like Turning Point offer to do is just phenomenal. And of course, my first question was 5 colleges, and they said, yes, we will do that. So that's why, you know, uh, Kelly was even available while they're here, which is fantastic. So I hope big things come out of this week, and I hope to be able to report back to you that really cool things are going to happen to Flip Erie and Erie County.
Yeah, and again, like I always say, whatever I can do to help, we'll promote it on the show. I've got the sound system, I got the music, I got the mics. Whatever you guys need logistically, do not hesitate. Just don't say, "Hey, Brian, we need you tomorrow," because that's a tough call sometimes.
Well, that's I told time is of the essence before they go back to school on the 28th, and
Yeah, I
coalition, which I had already got on the phone, started calling moms that I thought would run for state house, because our 3 Democrat House representatives are all pushing with Shapiro to overrule Trump and have Pennsylvania men in women's sports and locker rooms. So when I got the text message about that from the HRCC, I immediately got on the phone and started calling people that I thought might do it that have kids. And they wanted me to start a mom's coalition. So I put the whole business plan together, and we are starting. I'm calling it Mom Force America. And we're going to build this so that next year we go after the governor and we go after those House seats on people who are doing things to damage our kids.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I talked about this last show about Bob Mursky. I mean, he's got some nerve as a parent to support this. I mean, there's no
No kidding.
way, no
Yeah.
way he should be supporting stuff like this. And I personally said, listen, Bob, this is real simple. You support this, you're my rep. I will spend the last dime in my wallet and rack my credit cards till I have no money left to take you out, because this is the bullshit that needs to stop.
Said is already putting money in to getting the word out, because Brenton gave me a copy of the first text. And then, funny enough, I was standing 10 feet away from Ryan Bizzaro at the Erie Club picnic, and I got the text from the HR. So, but the fact that the HRCC is doing this a year in advance, they want them out.
Well, because they have dropped the ball so many times, and they have allowed these Democrats to steamroll, lie,
Yep.
cheat, steal, buy their way into office, and for their woke bullshit agenda.
Yep.
And people had enough. Why do you think Donald Trump is the president right now?
Yep.
And they just keep wanting to die on the same hill. But because they're just too dumb, they ran out of shit to argue about. They've run out of shit to complain about. And every day it's a new complaint. Now let's complain about some Nazi girl in a pair of jeans.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Yep. And we are one seat shy of.
Yep.
So, this mission is much bigger than what we're doing right now. But right now we need it, because if there's ever a time we're going to flip the city of Erie, it's right now.
Oh, I totally agree with you 100%. That's why we do the show. That's why Brenda and I volunteer our service to whoever needs a fundraiser. I'm doing Mike Pace's fundraiser, no charge. because we need to take these seats. We need to win these local elections, people. Your future and mine depend on it.
Yep. Absolutely. And, the judges, voting them out, that is another critical thing that, we need to get that word into every. So anyway, I'm going to get my rest. Tuesday and Wednesday are big days, and hopefully some fantastic news at the end of it.
Well, good luck. We appreciate you. We appreciate everything you do. Like I said, I'm not picking on the Republican Party too much. They need to step their game up a little bit, because this is the reason why we're getting our asses kicked. And it's a basically lead, follow, get out of our way. Get out of our way. You don't want to
Yeah.
help? Watch me. I'll drive my Hummer right over you. I don't care.
Yeah. I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready.
I get it. Well, thanks, Donna. We appreciate
Well,
everything.
I will.
Yeah.
What's up?
I said I appreciate everything you and your husband do. We know it's a team, just like with Brenda and I. It's always a team effort, and keep us in the loop if we can help.
I will Wednesday and let you know if anything exciting went down.
Okay, appreciate it.
Which I'm fully anticipating, so that'll be great.
And if you want to come on
All
live,
right.
if you want to come on live Wednesday, you're more than welcome.
Okie dokie.
All right, I'll
All
talk to you.
right, thanks everybody. Okay. Bye.
Hey, Brenda, I think we're going to wrap this up. I mean, people are saying it's breaking up. They're missing half the conversation. I think we're going to swap this out and try it for Wednesday, because I'm lagging. The phone's breaking up. People are saying it's breaking up. So again, I apologize. This is a technical world. This is all computer based. We made some big changes today to make things better, and it's a learning curve. So let's see. Are you there, Brenda?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. Because I sent you a text.
Yeah.
You didn't respond. All right. So I think, to not beat up the the poor people that are struggling, and it's struggling for them to listen to, I think we're just going to go ahead. We'll bring this thing in for a landing. We had 3 great calls. I think that was important. We had to, hopefully the new mayor come in here and talk about some stuff. We talked everything from the zoo down to politics. So let's just do the outro. We'll save the videos for Wednesday. We've been here for over an hour with the technical problems. No reason to beat people up. Thanks, everybody. Roll the outro, please.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. Sing it! God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still.
All right, everybody. Again, thank you for coming out tonight. I really greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Brenda, for everything we did. Sorry again. I apologize for the technical stuff. We had some great calls. I hope your end was a lot better than mine. Mine was very yucky, and we'll work those technical things out. Again, this is all computer based, and sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. We will work on it really, really hard for our show on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. We appreciate you guys. Again, like Donna said, this is up to us. We can't depend on anybody else. It is up to us to make this change. No one's going to make this change for you. No one's going to get out and vote for you unless you're a Democrat. You have to do it. You have to get up. You have to apply for a mail-in ballot. You have to get up, grab a Dunkin' Donut and your American Eagle jeans and go vote. Look that story up, folks. It's amazing. Again, thank you all for coming out. Like I said, I salute you. Shank